Greetings, Attorney Derek DeBrosse, munitionsgroup.com, munitionsgroup.com. Anything legal regarding firearms or the sporting goods industry, we're able to assist you. Just give us a call. Again, munitionsgroup.com. Today we have a question from Dimitri, and Dimitri writes, love your videos. It would be great to see one addressing the issue of CBD oil and answering the questions on Form 4473. Specifically, is the use of CBD disqualifying under the quote-unquote marijuana clause, as he phrases it. I believe Dimitri is referring to the Gun Control Act of '68, which states that nobody shall be a legal user or addicted to a controlled substance. Let me actually just pull up the exact citation on that so we can make sure we read it together and understand exactly what it says, because that's going to be extremely relevant, as well as 2923.13 on the Ohio Revised Code. All right, so with that said, what the Gun Control Act of '68, which is codified at 18 U.S.C. 922G, actually specifies. I just had this up a second ago, and here we go. It shall be unlawful for any person who is an unlawful user of or addicted to any controlled substances as defined in Section 102 of the Controlled Substances Act, 21 U.S.C. 802, what we commonly refer to as scheduled narcotics and scheduled drugs. CBD, to my understanding, I'm not an expert in drug law by any means, generally speaking, is not a scheduled listed drug if it was so much below in THC levels. I believe it's 0.3 or 0.6% or less, and it's therefore not a scheduled drug. So, strictly speaking, on the face of the question, Dimitri, as long as it's not listed on the scheduled drugs under federal law, it would not be an issue. Now, under state law, we would also look through the definitions of, I believe, a drug of abuse under 2923.13 in Ohio, at least. You cannot be addicted to or an illegal user of a drug of abuse or convicted of a crime involving a drug of abuse. So the definitions in Ohio, which generally follow federal law, and some additional ones would come into play there as well. And quite honestly, as of today, I just don't know about CBD oil. My initial reaction is that we can buy that stuff in Ohio as long as it's not overly potent. So I'm sure there's some sort of regulation or administrative code in our state, at least, regarding that. So as long as, again, it's not illegal under Ohio law, it would be fine in Ohio. Now, your state may have a different procedure of how that is defined, so you'd want to look at your state law. But let me bring you up Ohio's law so you can get an example or flavor of what it might look like. So our disability code is 2923.13 of the revised code, and it says, unless you're relieved from the disability by operation of law or legal process, no person shall acquire, have, carry, or use any firearm or dangerous ordinance if any of the following apply. And the one that's relevant here, there's actually two. The first is that person's under indictment or has been convicted of any felony offense involving illegal possession, use, sale, administration, distribution, or trafficking in any drug of abuse. Again, what is a drug of abuse? So, one, if it's a drug of abuse, then you're kind of dead in the water there. But regarding this statute, you actually have to be under indictment for or convicted of a crime involving the illegal possession, use, sale, administration, distribution, or trafficking. I get a lot of questions from people, well, what if I am invested in a marijuana grow, or I am assisting in the banking of the marijuana grow? It's tricky, you know. There is a very broad way to interpret this statute, and if it involves the possession, the use, the sale, the administration. So when we think of the word use, it doesn't necessarily need to be actually smoking marijuana. It can be using it for other purposes, such as economic benefits. So keep that in mind. And then number 4 in the code actually says the person is a drug dependent, in danger of drug dependence, whatever the heck that means, or my favorite, a chronic alcoholic, which I've talked to you guys about before. And it doesn't really define what drugs it's referring to, just as a drug dependent. So again, Dimitri, I hope that provides some guidance, at least at the federal level. The important thing to remember is if it's a listed narcotic on the schedule 1, 2, 3, 4, or I believe 5, it would be considered illegal for you to possess firearms. The way the regs actually interpret that statute, generally speaking, they look at convictions within the last year. If there's multiple drug convictions, if there's any within the last 5 years, and that's pursuant to the Code of Federal Regulations. So I hope that provided some guidance. As always, I appreciate you guys. Drop comments in the comment section below. Shoot me an email, give us a phone call, leave a message. And as always, be safe out there and carry on.